And here we go.
Hey Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks?
Welcome to the Cam Shenanigans podcast,
You mean Shenanigans? Oh! You're talking about Shenanigans, right?
where Mike, Trent, and Zach, and a guest will debate all things automotive.
Our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Make sure to check out Cam Automag on all the social medias at Cam Automag. And don't forget to support our sponsor, Hustle Energy.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Cam Shenanigans.
Oh, yeah, that zero sugar hits way hard when you pound it.
Well,
Yes.
we are joined by the lovable, the one, the only, the Professor Daddy Rads,
Ahoy.
Dave Raleigh.
How goes it, kids?
And we have everyone's lovable car kid, the Sen Samurai kid.
What's up, people? I'm fresh off. I'm feeling good. What's going on?
He is the original hype man.
He is. That's a lot harder to do because, like, normally I just read what Mike says, but it doesn't really quite work. Oh, and of course you have me, Lord of the Boards, tall kid. I don't even know what my nicknames are. Zach
Colonel
Lords,
Eddie
hi.
Dean,
Colonel Eddie Dean. That's what it is.
chairman of
What's
the
up,
board.
guys? How you guys doing today?
Stickers.
We doing.
That's good.
Oh boy, good times.
Well,
good times.
I'll have all you guys watching at home and listening at home. We post this. We do this podcast live every Monday night. We also post this to where you find all of your good podcasts. So I think it's Spotify, Apple Music, and everywhere else you can find good podcasts.
Google.
But we also did. Dave does. I think Kit's part of it. You guys do Nerding for Beginners.
Yeah, we do the nerding for beginners thing. It's all things nerdy.
Oh
Pretty
yeah,
great.
It's,
My girlfriend and I do that. So
oh yeah, it's
a good
uber
time.
Nerdy.
it's a good time. We openly embrace nerdism.
Oh yeah.
And then go check out Michael Chandler and M. Chandler Photo. I know he's trying to schedule some photo shoots this weekend. So if you got a car that you want, what's up, AJ? I haven't seen that face for a while.
Hey,
But if you got
he's been on.
But if you got a car in the valley that you want to get photos of, Michael Chandler is the one and the only to do it. I don't know another photographer in the valley who's been doing photos for as long as he has.
He is OG like that.
Yeah, pretty
He's been
much.
doing this he's been doing this since I was getting out of diapers.
Yeah. I think that's all the housekeeping.
Oh, yeah.
I will do, Andrew. I will do. I don't know, how has your guys' week been? I haven't talked to Dave in 2 weeks. I haven't talked to Kit for a while. What have you guys been up to?
I'll let Dave go.
Stuff, things, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, ups and downs.
Downs and
how
ups.
it goes. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, nothing to
Um,
report here. I'm pretty boring. I just go to work and then I come home and I do this, or I cook, or I go to sleep.
Those are all interesting things as long as you can put the spin on it.
Those are all adulthood things.
Exactly.
I like to spend my time actively engaging in nothing.
Hey, at least you're actually engaged in something.
Write that down. Write that down.
Yeah. Yeah, what are you doing? Nothing. Oh, well, hey, do you want it? No.
No,
I'm doing nothing.
This is my activity. I am doing this.
Nothing is my thing.
Yes.
Yes.
Zen.
I have been working on my Subaru. It is in its home place, which is its natural habitat, which is sitting in the garage on jack stands.
Yes.
Where a Subaru
Hover car
belongs.
mode.
Yes.
None of mine sit on jack stands. They're just rotting away in a gravel lot.
Oh boy. Oh man. See what I've been
They
up to.
do. They do be doing that.
On a lighter note, though, I am getting the title to that '03 Impreza wagon that's sitting in there. So
I remember when you got that.
we'll see. I don't know. It's got some body damage on the driver's side rear, so maybe it'll get a wide body kit at some point. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Ooh, I'm down to do that for you, by the way.
I mean, yeah, that's a car I would like to keep and do something with. I've liked both guys for a long ass time. So
Yeah.
Thank you. Somebody loves my
but dude, we should just make your Legacy like the sickest rear wheel drive wagon.
Yes.
So I'll catch up some of the viewers who weren't in the pre-show because no one was in the pre-show except us.
Yeah.
The pre-show. So we were discussing my Subaru because it's currently up on jack stands right now getting diff bushings because when I can lift the diff up and down inside the cradle means it needs new diff bushings.
If it makes you feel any better, my 2000 Outback needs the same thing because the same thing happens.
I don't have a
It's really
Subaru,
common. But we were discussing like what to do with it. So for those who don't know, very basic rundown. It's a manual flat six and it's rear wheel drive and a base model Legacy, 2001.
It's not a base model.
No, the
It's
shit
just
fucks.
a-
It fucks.
It's
It's
just
awesome.
a Legacy L.
What options came on that?
On an L? Well, you could get just about everything.
I'm going
But
to
it
take
has
notes.
nothing. It has cruise control, a radio, and AC. Power windows.
Did it originally come with a CD player, or was it just the tape deck?
CD.
I think it had some like super old Alpine in it when I bought it.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I guess that's tough to
No,
say
it. One of my Subarus had a tape deck because I have it. I have it laying in the
Yours
box.
it's a 2000, right?
2001.
Okay.
Because I was
They
pretty sure
s-
options
they
you could
still
get were like the winter package, the leather, and what else could you get on that car? The fucking Macintosh audio system.
Yeah. I saw one of those at the junkyard, and
Same.
I really thought about pulling it, and then I went back and it was gone. But that's how it
Yeah.
was.
My God.
But so we were discussing possibly turning it into a flat 12 Legacy.
Which
That would
I'm
be
here
sick.
for.
So, for I guess for those who don't know, the Subaru transmissions are about as versatile as they can get. You can basically place them in any orientation, and they're happy always.
I mean, don't turn them around, or else you'll have 5 reverse. But yes.
I want tractor mode.
Tractor mode is the only way to go. The fuck you talking about? What you talking about? Come on, get in there.
Andrew brings up a good point, as I don't have money.
Yes.
Realistically,
Yes.
none of us do. I
But
mean,
how cool would that be, though? Like,
it'd be hilarious.
and I'd pipe all the exhausts together, so like to see if I could try to get like a flat 12 sound.
Dude, you're just gonna go down. You're just gonna go down like 56, and it's like 35th, and you just go past everybody there, and you're like, "Hey guys, listen to this."
Well,
the whole time,
Well, it's
and I'm
more-
like, "How fast you going?"
I have a pretty good flat 6 imitation sound. It's when that flap opens up in the intake manifold, it turns F1, dude.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like that $10,000 exhaust on that like one 500 series, like the
A
Mercedes.
600, it's an equal length header.
Yeah.
Was it?
Dude,
Dude, that thing is sick.
I mean, I'm all for you just throwing a Lovejoy or like a Guiva or something between the crank pulley of one and the flex plate of another, and just stuffing them together and then phasing them like, I don't know, what is it, 90 degrees or like 135 degrees off from each other?
You madman.
No, I mean like mount them straight, but like actually have like the firing order like cocked off, so you don't just get the sound of like two Supras racing each other. You get the actual noise of like a flat 12, you know?
Oh, because that would sound like ass. Because not what we're saying, but what I'm saying, like if you do like just pipe two of them together, it's gonna sound like this weird mismatch of like, is it misfiring? No, it's fine.
Yeah, but it's a Subaru.
working
Nobody's
as
gonna think
intended.
twice.
So
It's like what would happen if you put unequal length headers on a 512 Testarossa? Like that's almost exactly what we're talking about right now.
but with only four exhaust ports instead of the 12?
Exactly. Yeah.
Make it out of aluminum cans too, just to,
Yeah,
just to
what
rub it in.
I got a 4-to-1 header on this thing, guys. Come on, what?
Got a 4-to-1 header.
Come on,
There's 12 cylinders. How the fuck does that work?
Look at my collector. It's a beer can.
What's the math on that? 4-to-1? So you mentioned just Subaru things, Subaru sounds. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I know Kit didn't hear it. I was driving it, and I heard a knock, and I'm like, that's my luck. Like, I don't know, it was a free engine from Dave. Like we were pretty sure it was good. But, like, there was no warranty explicitly involved with it.
Wait a minute, Dave. Subarus, knock jokes. I know this too well.
But I've never blown up a Subaru engine. I'm just saying.
I think I killed your Subi
I have.
at Shuinja, like the one you're lending Tyler.
Which is funny because like everybody was like, "Oh God, it's destroyed, it's blown up, blah blah blah, come get it." And like, I showed up and I started it, and it like made the cold knock that it always did, but it was like fine. Like I don't know if you guys like didn't notice that it always knocked or what, but
like it always knocked, but they like I think what they're attributing it is me driving it, and they're all like, "Oh, but and at that time." I was still like not good at driving manual, so it's like okay. So here I am driving.
That was the wrong car to be driving if you weren't good at driving a manual, because like there was something so incredibly loose somewhere in the drivetrain of that car.
It was
something moved around so badly. It had a good pitch stop. It had a good trans mount. It had all the drive shaft bushings were good. The differential didn't move. Like. I have no idea, but it felt like the whole subframe was going to fall out if you let off the clutch too quick.
How do you think I felt going on a freeway, dude? I was like, "Oh God!"
Well, I mean, I put like almost 80,000 miles on that car.
Oh yeah, you did. I remember several times riding back from the proving grounds because you left your keys. And we just have to make the quick run back into the valley.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like I've put like 80,000 miles on that car. It needed wheel bearings for about 70,000 of that, you know? Like
they're such a bitch though, wheel bearings on Subarus.
Which I mean, like I was just going to throw a whole ass knuckle at it.
That's how you do it. That's the best way of doing it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to spend $35 and grab this entire knuckle assembly from the junkyard with unknown mileage on it, just like everything else on the car. You know, dude, when I manual swapped that car, I pulled the clutch and transmission from a Forester that looked like it probably had 300,000 miles on it. The drive shaft came from like a 96 Legacy. The clutch pedal came from a 2000 Legacy. Like the shifter came from an 06 WRX. Like, I just threw a whole bunch of shit at it, and it all just kind of worked up until it no longer was in my parking spot.
What a shame. I still see a silver second gens, and I'm like, Dave?
Well, I mean, unless they swapped the rear hatch or spent a whole lot of crackhead time peeling stickers off. I mean,
whenever I just see a green one, I'm like, is that Dave? But I'm like, wait a minute, I'm down here in Satan's asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
But so to my knock joke.
Yes.
I'm like, did I already tell this to you, Dave? Did you about my knock joke?
I think you briefly mentioned it, but wait,
so,
tell it for all the viewers.
So, I'm like, well, shit. Like, it's fucking done. Like, I just whatever. I'm gonna park it in a parking spot, and forget about it for another year, and I'll put another engine in it.
Right.
So I pop the hood, pull the dipstick, and the dipstick is just dry as a bone. I'm like, well, I just have to get home. Just home.
You're like, free motor, yeah, fuck it, let's run it on hopes and dreams. Who gives a shit if it pops?
Literally the Capitol, up behind the Capitol, to my parking garage, and it's just going to sit and rot.
Just some baking grease.
So I ride in a green NB Miata that does not have the fender flares or the wheel wells flared or whatever. Yeah, roll the fender flares. There you go.
Right.
And so with jumping my 260-pound ass into it, driving down the hills from the Capitol to the Maverick down there.
It's just rubbing every chance it gets.
Every chance it gets. And so I go pick up 3 quarts of, I think it was like 1540. Like, it was the thickest shit which I don't even know. I've never seen Maverick carry like 1540. Like,
well, I
didn't know it existed.
Diesel oil.
I didn't even
Yeah.
know they even carried anything anything above like 5W30.
So I buy for
What the
3
fuck?
quarts of Maverick brand oil. Cause I'm like,
so
I don't give a fuck. So I pour it into the thing, pull the dipstick out. I'm like, okay, cool. It looks like there's oil in it now. Started, it's still there. I'm like, fuck. And so I start listening at it. Like, it sounds really front engine. Like, is it just the oil pump? And so I'm like, no, it sounds really front engine. And I've had issues with the power steering pump just fucking
Right.
me. So I'm like, okay, let's just pull the belt off and see if it's the power steering pump. Still hear the sound. And I'm in there. I got my flashlight out. I'm looking in there, trying to see what's going on.
It's
The
And
visual
I-
effects here are just
Exactly.
A1, top notch.
fidelity.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking and I go, that doesn't look right. So I walk the back of my Subaru. And all my friends are like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like we'll get this taken care of, the dude, man. Like, we'll help you put a new engine in it. And like, I just do my silent thing where I just like, I think I know what's going on. I go back, grab a screwdriver with the engine still running. I jam it between the crank pulley and the timing cover and bend it,
Oh no!
and it fixes it.
I
So,
mean, congratulations, you're an air-cooled Volkswagen guy now.
yeah.
That's exactly what they do.
You
So
didn't die.
There's a copper washer that sits between the crank and the crank pulley. And I'm assuming I must have omitted that when I reinstalled it.
Well, yeah, because you
And-
tore the whole front end off that motor. Like,
Yeah, I do it for all of them because it's worth doing when you get them.
well, I mean, yeah, it's like they never get serviced because it's one of the first chain motors that Subaru started to build.
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, oh, hey, no timing belt, no fucking problem. 500,000 miles, whatever. Who gives a shit?
We're good. Yeah, it'll be the junk before it blows up.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody
boy.
thinks that, this chain is like 70 fucking inches long, right?
Is it?
There's going to
Yeah.
be some slack developing.
I know
somewhere.
nothing of Subies, so like all of this information is new to me, and I am like amazed of the shit you guys are doing to this.
So 2 things about the timing chain. One, on that engine, it looked like it actually had been serviced because the chain guides were really clean. There was none of the oil actuated tensioners had any had any stiffness in them because sometimes they'll bind up and get fucked.
Yeah, they'll stick or some shit like that. Yeah.
And so they all had tons of play in them. And so it looks, I'm guessing it probably had a front end service, probably an oil pump or a water pump at one point in its life, and it all just got taken care of. But
Yeah, I imagine so. The whole car that I got it pulled from was in amazing shape. Like, it had brand new rotors on it, brand new pads. Like the engine oil that was coming out of the pan was in really nice shape. Like the whole car looked like it had just been so well taken care of. And I didn't think to check the trans fluid, but it was probably there from a Roach trans. So
yeah, those autos are notorious for going. And you throw an extra 100 horsepower at them, they're not going to be happy.
right, exactly.
Oh,
But the other thing was, I've since lost it, and I'm pissed that I've lost it. I don't know where it is. When I find it, I'll be very happy. But I'm at the Subaru parts counter at Nate Wade, just buying parts, and I see they have some shirts up for sale. And one of them was like, "Oh, cool! It's a Subaru with the timing or with the belt cover off, so you can see all the belts."
Right.
And I go, "Fuck! That's an easy 30." A timing chain cover or timing chain exposed easy 30 shirt, and I'm like, how fucking niche is that? Like, okay, cool, you have a B8 Tribeca, some shitty old people Subarus, and what else? Like, it's
Right.
it's an easy 30D, not DR, because it doesn't have the cam phaser.
Right. The R would also have the 6 individual ports instead of the Siamese ports.
Yep. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how much for the shirt? He's like, $35, and I'm like, so tag it on. Like, it was in my, they only had one, and it was in my size, double XL. And I'm like, God has gifted this to me. I am the
Yes.
flat 6 God.
Amazing.
buy
I
your
love it.
one shirts.
So I don't know where the shirt went. It's gone. I'm really pissed off because I really like the shirt. I wore it a couple times.
Yeah.
But so there's a story of my Subaru, I guess, again.
Well, I'm glad you didn't blow it up. I mean,
I didn't blow it up. I have proceeded to do several drives with it. It is an absolute blast. Oh no, dude! We were rolling 4 deep in the Subaru. What does it say?
I am also amazed.
We were rolling 4 deep in the Subaru, and a Turbo Veloster pulls up next to us.
Hey,
Oh boy.
KDM.
I drop into third, and he gets me a little bit, and then as soon as the valve opens, I just start pulling, and I was like, "What the fuck?" That was
Power.
You gave him all the Porsche noises.
so happy, and the dude has his girlfriend in the car, and I'm like, "You're getting walked on by my dumb ass."
You're getting walked on by a Legacy with an orange fender, American Racing 15s, and it's making fucking 964 noises.
Yeah, exactly.
And your little turbo hot hatch with a fucking
Third door.
yeah.
Third door looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird car.
3-door, no trunk having ass.
They are getting more popular though.
Hey, no, like I appreciate them. Like all the like Kia Hyundai shit, you know.
I'll still rag on it. But
I mean,
I love it.
Yeah, hey, like I like to equate it this way. So y'all remember like 10, 15 years ago when we were talking shit on like Megan Racing, right? Because that was like the eBay parts.
Sure, I was like, I don't know.
I'm familiar with the story.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was like cheap stuff you could buy on eBay, right? Like you buy the strut towers. It was like APC from the 2000s, and I think I'm the only one in this group
ISR
that
was
was
called
old
ISIS.
enough to remember that. Yeah, yeah, ISR. They were ISIS. Yeah,
Yeah, they were nice. Good times.
yeah, and they changed their name because of all that shit. But anywho, so like if you've got like straight up legit like Sport Max wheels and like an ISIS exhaust, like you're OG eBay. Is pretty much what it comes down to. But yeah, dude, like, 10, 15 years ago, Megan Racing was kind of like, shit quality, right? And now they're like a decent company. Like they make good suspension components and stuff for a lot of cars, and Hyundai and Kia is kind of the same way now. Like you could buy a pretty dope ass Kia or a dope ass Hyundai, like,
Yeah.
So
Don't get it confused, ladies and gentlemen. Do not get it confused. Please,
So-
for the love of God.
God damn it.
So, Professor Dave,
Yes.
I have a question. I have a quandary.
Oh boy.
Question time.
That's been in my head, which will lead into our next topic, which is I've been thinking about four-door European sports sedans,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
and I was realizing something.
Yeah.
I can't think of a modern as in like 2002 or like 2000 to now, European sports sedan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can think of one now. One popped in my head
I already have like two.
that isn't depreciating quickly. European meaning German.
Okay, all right. That changes everything.
And the only one that pops into my head is the RS4.
So wait, we're saying 2000 to now?
Yeah.
2000 to now.
And I realize it's kind of hard to evaluate some of the cars now, but you can kind of look at the trend of like
That's kind of like two
Well-
decades to deal with right there.
I mean, now that's it. The whole like the length of time isn't what I'm concerned about. It's in this particular instance, are we forgetting about the last 3 years of the E39, like the 540, the M5?
How it's like resurged.
that's a good point.
Because that car's appreciating right now.
That was
Yeah.
you actually took that off my head. That was exactly what I was
and
thinking.
the other one too is the E60.
E60s, okay, here's the thing. I actually really like E60s. It's the only Chris Spangle design BMW I actually like.
They're not bad looking.
Well, I mean, yeah, you get a 535, so a twin turbo inline six, with a 6-speed manual or the more commonly optioned 6-speed auto, but you could get one of those cars with not bad mileage for like $6,000 right now.
Yeah, but
You could also get an F32.
That's also back to the depreciation. So like the E or the M5 I think is the only one that it did definitely depreciate. I think the manuals in the US are coming back up a little bit.
The manuals, considering they're only a North American
Yeah.
market option because we pissed and moaned,
Yep.
Yeah.
like that was the car they designed the SMG and the DCT for.
I'm glad we bitched about that.
And I mean, I guess I've never driven a manual E60. I can't really say if it's good, bad, or otherwise. I would rather have the DCT personally.
So the manual, I have driven one. The manual is really, really solid. I have not personally driven a DCT, but someone who has driven DCT has said it was shit.
Well, I mean, you've got to think a stock DCT car is probably not that great.
Stock comes
Yeah,
right
stock
out.
DCT.
Do you get some tuning, or I mean, okay, now if it's an SMG car, I understand completely.
Yeah, it's
A
an
DCT
fucking G.
car, if it's an SMG car, I guess the E60s were SMGs, which now
They-
I'm
they-
thinking about it.
Yeah, okay, yes,
They
are,
were.
'cause-
So it's still an H pattern gearbox. You just have solenoids shifting it for you, and there's still a standard clutch. It's just working all of this stuff by itself. So I can understand where the hatred from that comes from, because there will come a time when you can physically shift an H-gated shifter faster than the SMG can.
yeah.
And also the biggest, the largest complaints, which started with the E46 SMG, were when it tries to shift fast and it gets just that little bit of resistance from a dying synchro, it gives up. It doesn't give you that gear. It just gives up.
Well,
I mean, you can force it, or you can double clutch it, do whatever. You can, as a driver, make the choice and still be able to drive it, where BMW logic or, the electronic components, physical components, what have you, tell you no.
And the other benefit I see for an H pattern is gear selection. Okay, I'm coming into a corner hot. I'm in fourth. I can just grab second and not have an issue.
Yeah, skip shift, yeah.
Yeah, skip shift. And
Yeah,
I actually have
SMGs can't do that. The DCT will, but an SMG can't.
I think the newer
actually-
SMGs actually skip shift. I think.
well,
The SMG probably not, no.
yeah, due to how they're designed. But I recently did drive. Not recently. Saturday I drove again a SMG E40 M3. What's E46? E46.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you can get an E46 with an SMG, yeah.
Yeah.
So they came
has some
SMG
local
automatic
U in
in
them.
Okay.
But that it's funny when you put that car into sports mode, or the transition into sports mode. It's like, holy shit! Why are you shifting so fucking hard? Like I don't need you. Like I'm not driving you that hard. I don't need you fucking like Thor's hammering gears.
It's just
for
a
me.
solid fucking clunk every time you go for it. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
God.
it really is. Yeah, they are brutal.
Oh yeah, like
I'm trying to remember a time if I ever drove one.
I'm like 3/4 throttle, maybe half throttle, and I shift in a second, and it chirps the fucking tires. I'm like, that's not required right now.
We're not going hard, dude. We're not sending yet. Not yet. Wait till we get this corner, then we'll flash some Girl Scouts and give us some cookies.
Too hard in the paint. Too hard in the paint.
But it is nice though, like when it's not too aggressive, but it's that right perfect crisp of just kunk, and that is just so satisfying. Just kunk, kunk, yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean,
behave,
I
but
agree.
that's-
I agree. I mean,
So
if I'm
pros
gonna
and cons
do,
to both.
yeah,
I did also that same BMW. It's my buddy Costa. He has one. I've also done donuts in it, and drifting a non-clutched car is just it's wrong. It feels wrong.
It's strange, but then you look at the SC300 and SC400s, and they could do it well. And granted, the SC400's got the 1UZ, so it has more enough power to push itself. But
I think that a lot comes from my driving style, where I've always driven underpowered cars, and I've always tried sliding underpowered cars. So I using clutch to modulate and keep
Right.
angle,
right,
and then going to that where I'm just like, I only have throttle to modulate.
So it ultimately comes down to what type of physical control the transmission will give you.
Yeah,
Like,
Pretty much.
there have been some like drift demos and exhibitions at like Coda, for example, in like Hellcat Chargers. And you can't get a Hellcat Charger. You can't get a Charger at all with a third pedal, but you can, they're ZF 8-speed autos.
yeah.
You can tell them to stay in a certain gear, and if you're a decent driver, you can kind of tell the car what direction to go, and then apply throttle, or
Of
you
course,
can
yeah.
hit the brakes,
give you
while
the
you're
freedom to do so.
transitioning. Right, but again, it's a tighter So those ZF8 speeds don't drive like an automatic unless you just put it in dumb and sit in traffic. Because I think it's after second or third gear, they lock the torque converter as soon as they're in their gear. So, I mean, you drive it in sport mode, and you're getting engine braking, you're getting crisp up and down shifts, and you're getting really linear power output. You're not winding up a rubber band, you're not stirring a spoon in some porridge or whatever, shit like that. It's all about the control. The older automatics, or a normal older automatic, which is a torque converter and some clutched bands or clutched drums and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. It's slushy, and it's that way because of its function. And those are the ones that are much harder. Those are the ones that you actually have to rely on throwing the car in and hoping you have enough power to push you out.
Yeah, you're modulating body weight at that point of the throttle.
Right, exactly. Like if I was going to drift something, let's even say competitively, that had an automatic, it would have to be something that was new enough. Something with like a ZF6 or ZF8 automatic, or something that mimicked a dual clutch, just with a torque converter. Because then you throw them in sport mode or you tune them to have a sportier feel, and then you can drive them more aggressively, and they're, as a result, more rewarding. You could still throw it back and drive, and go to Sonic or go to a cruise on a Friday night or something.
Yeah, you got no problem. I mean, I have experience with that recently because my ma's roommate, they're both business partners. Mm-hmm. He owns a Jag F-Type R, and it's got so it's got the dual clutch. I think was it like 8-speed?
No, that would actually be the same ZF 8-speed automatic that's in like Chargers and Challengers, like the Hellcats and stuff. It's the same trans. Same one? Yeah, it's the same trans.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because like he did let me get a little rowdy in it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that like for an automatic, that's what I would pick. Honestly, you have to be a bit of a baller to get that, because it's for one's Jag, and number two, it's expensive as shit. But at the same time, right. The freedom to have the modulation of power and to stay within the same gear and actually have it like let you do what you want to do.
Bingo.
It really does work. And then I see a lot of other people, especially with right now, because SC300 and SC400s are getting more popular from what I've seen, at least.
Yeah, they're really starting to pop.
They're finally getting the recognition that they deserve, and
they're starting to catch on to the super tax. People are finally coming to the realization 10 years later that they're a Mark IV Supra with the back seat.
Pretty much, and a lot of the SCs, at least here in the North American market, it never really came like manual, but they do have them. They have OG manuals out there.
Yeah, they're super rare.
Yeah, but the majority you'll find will just be automatics, and SC400s. They never came. It never came manual.
You couldn't get a UZ engine with anything but a slush box behind it.
Yeah, but like people drift those all the time, and especially out at the events, they just take them out, and they do relatively well on them. I just like what you're saying with the new Challengers and with the Type R. Like, if you want to have much better control and you still want to have an automatic, you have to go something newer.
Yeah, or retrofitting. Like the DCT swaps right now, 8 HP and DCT swaps right now are hot. Like it's gonna be the next thing. Like you could find one of these transmissions for $1,500 on carpart.com right now.
All day, dude.
There's controllers, like there are 5, I think, companies right now that make like the mechatronics kits and like the controller box and software to shift these things. Like in the case of the 8 HP, the ZF8 speeds, BMW uses a version of the 8 HP in one of their race cars without the clutch pack.
Wasn't it the M4 race car?
I don't remember if it's the M4. It might be the M4, but instead of having the clutch pack, the dual clutch pack on it, it's straight up direct drive, and the clutch that they use for like starting and stopping, like the clutch they use to take off in the race car, is still in a production 8 HP transmission. So, and like, there's one company in particular, HTG, I think it is. They're somewhere overseas. They have kind of figured it all out, and they have that tuning option in their controller to where they have like an E clutch, so you can use it on like a trigger, or you can map it to like another like drive-by-wire throttle pedal to use as a clutch, and you can take off, or you can let the software do it. But you can take off with the clutch band in the transmission that they launch the BMW race cars with. And then after that, it's just instant shift, instant shift, instant shift. And that's great that it's coming out, you know, in like the aftermarket support, you know, industry. Again, with 8 HPs, there's guys putting those things behind 2 JZs, and they're throwing them in like RX-8s and shit.
Oh yeah. I've seen.
Oh,
And
they are pushing.
yeah, and you can do the E clutch thing on an 8 HP as well. So, you know, like you can map it to a button or a trigger again, you know, and like there's videos out there of guys that are driving around their cars, you know, and it's like, oh, 8 HP with a big turbo 2JZ and an RX-8, and they're like, oh yeah, check it out, it has a fucking clutch kick button, you know, they're driving around in like second or third gear. Yeah,
right there.
And they're like hitting the button, and it's like literally, it's like popping the clutch. It's just whap bam, whap bam.
Yo, hold
whap,
up,
bam.
hold up. Let me push the button. Oh, yeah.
It's a legit drift button at that point.
That's awesome.
So, which adds another degree of, you know, consideration to the topic of like, why would anybody buy or drive aggressively in an automatic car, like manual transmission supremacy, whatever, what have you. It all comes down to like what we were just talking about. You know, it's how torque management, you know, it's how torque is provided, how it's managed. It's, you know, how the drivetrain reacts to it. It's how tight, how loose it is, you know.
Yeah,
it's
like
all that
automatics
kind of
have come ways since
that's the thing. It's no
original.
longer, you know, a blender full of pudding like an old Power Glide or a Turbo 400, you know. it's no longer that shit. Yeah, exactly. Like it's not a hydraulic pump catching up with something, you know.
Oh, dude,
and that's the thing, is like a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, in order to have fun or in order to be able to like drift or something like that, you have to have a manual or you have to have a clutch pedal. And
you don't necessarily need that no more.
That's not entirely true.
No, you definitely don't. And I think it goes back to what I was saying before, where it has a lot to do with the drive style.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. 110%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because like I have, I wouldn't say decent amount, but I have some seat time drifting a Tesla, and that's a completely different animal. Like,
shout out to my boy Stucky for drifting the shit out of that Tesla.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But like going from like something that has a pedal and I'm going to use the word what's the word I'm thinking of right here?
Flappies?
No, like in my head, I understand the torque curve of an engine. But going from a no clutch, going to the no clutch pedal and a completely linear torque line,
Mm-hmm.
it's a truly odd experience, and it's surreal. But yeah, no, but back to the same, it is definitely possible. Like, people definitely do it, and
Right.
something that I'm not good at, but it's something that people are good at.
Right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
It's just like AJ was saying. It comes down to the amount of control you have, or the amount of control you want. Really, I guess is what it comes down to. You know, there are still cars that have shitty slush boxes, like your Impala.
Oh, yo, take that, Impala owners,
I mean,
burn!
It's the old 4T60. It's a shitty transaxle, but
It's the Iron Duke of transaxles.
it predates the Iron Duke, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But holy shit, tangent. We were talking about like BMWs and shit, and then we got on like auto transmissions.
Then we got to
and
automatics.
shit.
Yeah. I mean, I also kind of like had to like because you guys were talking about, we were like talking about like Wankles before this started, and since you
Were we
mentioned the RX-8,
talking-
I
Were
mean,
we talking about
you
Wankles?
were. We were
Yeah.
talking about
you were
Audi
talking about BMWs.
RS7s, and you thought we said
Appreciation values.
RX7, and then depreciation and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. We've missed the boat. The boat
Yeah.
has been stuck in the Suez Canal.
It has. Nice. That I was just thinking about Wankles and just how Mazda, like, there's just been a little bit of rumblings here and there about how they're gonna bring back the Wankel.
They are.
And
Well, it's coming back as a generator.
Yeah, if it comes back at all, it's going to come back because it's spinning a stator to make electricity. That's how they exist almost exclusively in industrial platforms. They are giant rotaries are generators on cruise ships.
Yeah,
That's literally all they are, and they're like either hydrogen or diesel.
and because they like to stay at that 1 RPM and stay there and have tons of oil.
That's
Oh, really?
exactly it. That's exactly
So-
what it comes down to.
So I guess I'll pose my final question of the night because I've been asking lots of questions.
The more you know.
dun 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 dun.
So this is a question that's been popping around my head a lot too, which is you're doing better off in life, and you're looking at getting something that maybe doesn't showcase that, but something that feels that per se.
Just a nicer whip.
yeah,
like a bit of a
Something-
sleeper, but
You're
it's still
you're
going.
not screaming affluence, but you want something that's nicer and comfortable. A little sporty.
yeah.
Something
I'm
good like
picking
that.
up where you're at. I'm picking
Yeah,
up.
Alright.
I'm thinking like the 40 to 50 price range, maybe. I have two options in my head that I have come up for the solution for my question, but I wondered if you guys had any thoughts. I can share mine while you guys think if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Slap
go
us
ahead.
with it.
I gotta think about like a few cars.
So for me, the two that I keep going back to and I keep looking at are the RS7,
Okay.
like the
Okay.
2004
Like the-
era.
Okay, cool.
I think that the C9 I think is the chassis name.
So wait, are you talking RS6 or RS7? Are you talking like
RS
this
the
super-
slanty hatch.
the super slanty one?
Yeah.
When was
I-
the first year of those things? I thought
think-
they were
Were they, like-
relatively new.
No, they're a bit old.
I think they released the A7 in like 2010 or 12.
So
and
are you talking about like the
RS10
slanty one? Or?
2010.
2010, yeah. So I was
20
right there.
this is according to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
We know how far off that could possibly be.
I got 2014, but I think I missed which model.
So
then the-
2010 to 2018 is the first gen. So
Yeah.
basically a decade. The car we all know because I don't think very many of us have seen a second gen RS7 in the wild.
I've seen
Pretty
one.
much. Okay, yeah. There
Have
you
you?
go. See, Biggs, my
Where
my
the hell
point
have
exactly.
you seen that?
Well, come on. He works in the IT industry. He probably works
That's
around
true.
a bunch of rich code monkeys anyway. So somebody's going to eventually have an RS7.
You guys
There
just all
is-
sitting in the dark, and then after that, all right, let's go drive
There
around
is a-
town, boys.
There is a brand new Model Y in our parking lot.
Ooh!
And a gorgeous disco, but that's for later.
So,
But-
according to Wikipedia, it is very closely related to the C7 A6, and it was also designed in 2006. So,
Really?
more to your merit. It was designed 4 years before it was even
Yeah.
produced.
Because I knew most of the chassis was similar to the six
Yeah,
series.
well, they were trying to fill the sporty notch between the 6 and the 8.
Yeah.
Because the 8 was just a fucking cavern of a vehicle, and the RS6 is not enough car for some people. I'm still not seeing how, but
I
it's
still
not
believe the
enough car for some
RS6
people.
is like enough. I still believe the RS6 is like it's more minimalist, that type of thing.
Yeah, but
you're- if you're
anywho,
into
so
that.
so you're going with an RS7 as an example.
Okay, all right.
And then the other one, which this comes back to okay, I gotta be kind of smart with my money now. I'm big shot. Do you like how I'm just now just completely in black now? Isn't that just so cool? Is it
You're just a
really-
head floating in space.
I like what you've got.
Show me what you got. I like what you got.
So I gotta be kind of money wise. I gotta think about the future a little bit. And RS7 will probably hold some value, but if you look at Audi's lineup, they don't hold value for very long.
I've noticed the RS cars typically hold a bit more of their value, but I think it's because they were more marketed to a certain demographic that like the S and the A cars and the S line cars didn't, cater specifically to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying before we started the show, the RS7 was like 120 base when it started, like when it came out,
Was it
and
120?
you can still find them for 50, 60, 70,000. I guess it depends. The newer obviously is a little bit
Yeah,
more.
I saw a 2014 for 45 or 48. I can't remember.
Okay, was it decent mileage then? I'm guessing.
I didn't look too closely at it. I presumed it probably had a little bit north of 100.
I'm guessing around 90 for like around that price point.
But then the other car that I keep thinking about, which I'm like, okay, well, if I want to think about not losing money on a car and still having a fun car to drive, 996 Turbo.
I mean, well, and Gavin can probably attest to this, is you're not going to, I mean, if you keep it long enough, you're not going to lose any money on a P car.
Gavy Wavy.
I say that because, again, they have a history, they have a legacy, they have,
Well,
good night, AJ. I just saw that you're getting out.
Good night, AJ. Bye, AJ.
Bye, AJ.
Much love. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, there's going to come a point where you're not going to lose any money owning a Porsche.
Yeah. And
they
I
don't
feel like
depreciate too heavily. I mean, the new ones, yeah, they do. Almost everything will depreciate at least a third as soon as you drive it off the lot, brand new. But even if you're buying a used one, 996s, 997s, 991, whatever was between the 997 and the 991, I don't know. Is there one?
I think it's a 997 one or 99. Yeah, there's. Yeah, I don't
It's
follow
like the-
along.
I don't.
It's like the 997 point whatever because it's Porsche. It's like you have
Well, right,
five
they
different categories
started-
for two cars.
Yeah, they started doing like alpha beta versions of shit.
And then
like
they
that.
switched in between.
Hey, it's whatever. Everybody does the alphabet soup chassis codes. I get it. I understand exactly why. Porsche specifically is famous for it. But yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, I get it. If you own a Porsche long enough, you will not lose money on it.
Yeah, and I feel like the 996 Turbo is hitting the bottom of what's going to do because, like, if you think about the lineage of the 996, you have the Carrera.
I think they're on the upward swing because the 996 is the first water cooled, right? Because the 993 was the last air cooled.
Yeah.
Yep.
So right away, you've already got the beginning of a new certain era of the car, of the chassis.
Like it's right there.
Right, and it's I would argue it's one of the best chassis.
Yeah,
I mean, I absolutely adore the way a 996 looks. It doesn't matter what trim it is. You give me a 4S, Targa or something like that, or like even a Cabrio. It doesn't matter. A 996 in any trim is an attractive vehicle.
I'd argue with the Cabrio a bit, but
I don't know, man. You take a
more
ride in a bitch basket and you hear that motor behind you.
that's true.
So I have a little bit of seat time in, not a little bit, I have a decent amount of seat time in 996 Carrera 2. Really fun car, handles really well. And I had an opportunity to drive a 996 Turbo around the block. And it was like, this is a different car. Like, this is, it's better.
They really are.
Yeah.
One of them's a ball peen hammer. The other one's a 20-pound sledge.
Yeah. So those are my two things I have in my head. I wonder what you guys would come up in your situations.
I mean, those are hilariously solid choices.
Those are pretty good. I have bit some strange options, but my first one I pick is a V90 Volvo V90, like the R package that they got for like at least just the interior.
Like what era are we talking here?
We're talking about the newer ones, like 2017 and up, that type.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I mean that solid choice.
Like inline four turbo, it's all good, and it's super damn practical. Plus,
those have the T8. That's right. It's like the hybrid assist, like turbo supercharged 4-cylinder.
You could thank Glenn you could thank Glenn for making me love Volvos.
But not me. What the fuck?
You never talked to me about Volvos.
Bro, I've only been a Volvo guy since I don't know, fucking high school.
Shit, when you were in high school, I was still in like probably elementary.
I don't know. You're not that much younger.
I'm 2000, dude. That's when I was born.
I was 13 when you were born.
The
You
old
were
yet-
still shitting in your Huggies when I had a Volvo.
Yeah, I mean, like I choose a V90 R design because I've seen what the Stans boys would do to it and whatnot. I'm like, honestly, if I'm just going like off what Zach said, just like something that's like not necessarily super flamboyant, but something that's like pretty good. It's comfy. It's the perfect car. It
Yeah.
is a nice.
yeah.
It's a nice wagon. It's like my gripe with it is just that the rear just a little bit more sloped than I like it. But then again, that's just like it's just like nitpicking between like old school
Yeah.
Volvos where they're just like straight and new ones. But
I mean, yeah, I feel like with the V90 specifically, I feel like they over-engineered the first like 3/4 of the car, and then we're like, oh fuck, we got to stop it somewhere, and they just kind of they just ended the car. You know,
like we done.
yeah, and I don't know if they did that on purpose. I don't know. It's like an unfinished edge on IKEA furniture. It just doesn't work for me.
You damn sweets.
I mean, yeah, the Swedes have my heart, obviously, but okay, no, I think that's a solid car choice.
It's pretty good. I think my second one kind of teeters on the edge of flamboyance, but I'd still go for it anyways. It's the newer NSX. I take those.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I like the NSX.
Well,
like
you can get those in that price range though.
they depreciated to that range. At least like, from what I've seen, at least.
So.
I don't know down here, just like I don't know because I'm taking Arizona prices because like everybody's rich and they all have like classic cars and little rust and everything like that. So some cars that should be majorly expensive are relatively cheap. But if it's in that price range, then yes. If not, then I could take another car while Dave is talking.
'Cause I think they're like 80 to 90.
Are they still at that point?
No, they're a lot more than that. They're like 100 and 120.
I thought they dropped pretty fast.
I think you might have it confused with the R8 or the i8.
I think I might have it.
The i8's tickling that price range now. Yeah, I can't see 2017 for 130, 2017 for 130, 2019 for 140, 2017 for 130. You can get a 91. It looks like it's an auto for 85.
Yeah, but that's true. But if I'm I thought it depreciated more than that. That's just based on assumptions. So I didn't necessarily do my homework on that one. So
That's all.
Dave, you can go ahead and give your car. I'll think of my second one.
I'm looking at the price tags now to see if what I
There's definitely some
thinking
wiggle
of-
room in there, but not $120,000 wiggle room.
Yeah. So
Big money.
If we're talking, we're talking like what 50 to 60,000.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's
50K ish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, my first knee jerk is perfect. It's right up in that. The like 2017 to 2018 C63 AMG.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See,
Somebody knew you were gonna say that.
yeah, I really like the C class.
Mhm.
It's not. So it has all the same features that the E class does. It's just not such a large frame vehicle. Like the E63 is a great car. I've driven plenty of them. I enjoy the shit out of them. I really like the looks of them. Now, if the E63 came in C63 size,
Right.
that'd be my perfect car. I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
own anything else.
Oh yeah,
But
but they don't.
they don't. But I do like the C class. C63, it's the same drivetrain, so you're getting the same horsepower, you're getting the same good transmission.
The biturbo.
Right,
amazingness.
exactly. Yeah, you're getting the amazing brakes, and it's just in a slightly smaller package. So I mean, there's choice number one. I haven't exactly figured choice number two yet. I also really like the CLS 63.
Yeah. That's a fun
That's
car.
a good.
But I think
That
those
one's
are a
going up a
bit
lot.
spendy.
Yeah, for that year, I think you're a little bit out.
Yeah, I
Feel
think
like-
I'm a little off the rocker there. But let's see. Um, okay, so I'm gonna throw a wrench in the works now.
Oh boy, what's
let's
up? What do you got?
let's see here. How about a late 20 teens? So we're gonna say like 2018, 2019. F pace, the Jag F pace.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
So
that's a sexy car.
so
you fancy boy.
base MSRP on a 2021, they
Uh.
start at 50.
Yeah,
So
like,
I would
like,
imagine a
40, yeah.
2018 or a 2019, like an F pace, a well optioned F pace, not like your, basic budget garbage.
Yeah,
A well optioned couple-year-old, like a lease return F pace, is going to be in the 40s or 50s.
yeah, I think that would be very reasonable.
That is.
I mean,
That's
you
solid.
can haul a nice aluminum trailer behind it with a race car on it, or you can take it to the track by itself
Oh,
and go have a
blast.
good day.
Oh yeah, you
And
can
then
have
you
fun.
can pick up all your business colleagues from the airport, and they'll all ooh and ah over it.
And they all
Right,
have their fucking helmets inside their suitcases and shit.
Now exactly. Now, like, if I had that kind of money, which I would consider at this point in my time, in the time of my life where I'm at right now, that would be considered fuck you money. But if I had that kind of money and I had something like that, that's one of those cars that, like you said, I could pick up my colleagues from the airport with, take them to the Hilton, drop
Drink some
wine.
wine.
Go drop them off downtown wherever their business meetings are or whatever, and then Saturday morning, wake up, throw the luggage carrier on the hitch, throw the R compounds on it, and drive out to the track, swap the tires over for some like 335, R compound tires on all four corners.
Oh, dude.
Go chase down C7s and then throw the all seasons back on it and then drive back home.
Yeah, no, I think
That would be
a-
that's not bad. That is not bad, and I found out my second choice because I remember in my Ma's apartment complex, there's a guy that owns one of these.
Ooh.
So like F32 chassis BMW. So in case people don't know chassis, that is like the later, so like around 2015.
Okay.
4 Series BMW. So M4
Okay. Yeah.
in-
Ooh,
in-
yeah.
in Phoenix yellow.
Has to
Oh
be.
yeah.
Has to be.
Oh yeah,
That's
and
good.
yeah, it's a solid. It's luxurious as hell inside. Everything's great. Like their on-screen system, in my opinion, is still better than Mercedes for what they got, even in their S class. But
Okay.
that, like, I'm open to debate on that. But as far as performance goes, like when you want to get rowdy with it, you can definitely get rowdy. It still has some aggressive stylings, but at the same time, it's just that, like, at least over here, a lot of people got BMWs and a lot of people got luxury cars, so it blends well into the crowd, even if you got a Phoenix Yellow. But when you pull up to the track and you wanna get down with it and whatnot, you got a Phoenix Yellow car that is pulling some really good ass turns. And I forgot how much horsepower it specifically makes, but the M4 was meant to replace originally the M3 because the M3 became a sedan and the M4 became a coupe. But then they made the F82, so that became like the M3, but it's called the M2, and it's just a
Right.
whole bunch of BMW bullshit.
Yeah. Exactly. The old alphabet soup.
Yeah.
I
I
have
think-
2 honorable mentions real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Now that I'm thinking SUVs, right?
Woo!
Big horsepower, cool shit, right?
Yeah.
Honorable mention number 1, a used higher mileage Trackhawk.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be fun. I have not seen the Trackhawk in real life though.
Which surprises me because they should be everywhere in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I always see a Trailhawk. I never see a Trackhawk.
Never
I,
see Trackhawks. Okay.
I live in
Wow.
Scottsdale, so it
Which
should be
means
even
you should
more.
see a lot of Trackhawks.
I don't see it. What I mostly see are Jags, Ferraris, a couple Lambos here and there. Not that many Lambos. It's mainly a lot of older folks here. So a whole bunch of classic cars.
Which
Ferraris.
again, is still blowing my mind because Scottsdale, rich old people like
G
there
wagons
should
all over this bitch, dude. G
be right
wagons
exactly. Which
everywhere.
means to me that there should be Trackhawks everywhere.
Yeah.
But-
I don't see Trackhawks. I see Trailhawks.
Well,
So-
let's hear Dave's last one because we're just about out of time.
right.
And last honorable mention, like a 2-year-old SRT Durango.
Nice.
So basically the same thing,
Nice.
just has a towing capacity and no supercharger. That's basically all it is.
It's still.
And
it's
you
still
can get
go
one of those.
fast.
You can actually get one of those in the 40s right now.
Oh yeah, easily.
So
Oh yeah. You can even
Bam.
get those in like the high 20s if you look hard enough.
an RT maybe, not an
Maybe,
SRT.
yeah.
Okay, all right, RT, yeah, that's right.
Well, I
Solid
think that-
choices, Dave.
Yeah, I think you guys pulled out some bangers for sure. Maybe do some thinking for sure.
Hey,
Uh,
suck it.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I think that was been this episode of the Cam Shenanigans.
Oh yeah, it hasn't been the episode.
The Cam Shenanigans.
Shenanigans, motherfucker!
All right. Well,
We have some high energy at the very end of the podcast.
thank you for listening this long. If in fact you have.
I tried to keep it calm. But you know, I couldn't wait to explode.
Do you guys have anything you guys want to shout out? Any projects? Anything you guys want to shout out?
I do. So, I am running a podcast called the Low Gear Zencast, where I have Brandon Kuhn as my co-host, and we have our occasional guests such as Joey Harrington, the good old leader of this podcast, Michael Chandler.
Oh
and
yeah,
we-
check that out. Check that out.
and we also have Glenn, and good times are abound. We just got done with our 10th episode, finishing off season 1, and it was extravaganza. We did many things like talk about the new 400Z Bad Dragon stickers and a whole bunch of stuff. So
Very nice,
please
very nice.
please go check that out if you like and help support us, because I want to invite. My goal is to invite everybody in the Cam Shenanigans group, or anybody who's ever been on the Camcasters, to come on and give us dumb low gear ideas. And
Oh,
we
that's
are
awesome.
on every either Sunday or Monday on 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and I'm currently working on trying to get it on an audio only platform as well, so that way people can listen to it on the audios.
Sick.
Oh, cool. And I'd say check out this podcast. Apparently, we're not posting audio anymore. I will look into the reason why we're not having audio being posted anymore.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I need to talk to you about that, so that way I could get some insight on how to do
that
audio
would
stuff.
be not me. That would be a Trent question.
Would that be a direct question?
Yeah.
That's true.
We'll just spam Trent later. After
Yeah,
this.
that's a plan.
Where the hell are you, buddy?
Yeah. Anywho.
Well, cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being our guest, Kit, and good seeing you again, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Anytime,
good seeing
dude.
you.
I'm glad to come on
Missed you
anytime.
last time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully Dear Leader is back next week. I know he's busy getting the final stuff moved.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
good
yeah.
to have you back. Thank you for not lodging this thing in the most important canal on the face of the planet.
Indeed. Thanks for not holding it up for like 100 ships. How?
Yes.
There's so much ocean, and yet you managed to fuck up in the wrong place.
I am stuck inside you, Suez Senpai.
Well, I think on that note, we'll call this. Thank you guys so much for watching the Cam Shenanigans. We'll see you guys next week at the same time.
Later, kids.
Au revoir.